When the final charges were dropped in the Freddie Gray case, a judge's gag order was lifted and State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby addressed the media. In previous stories, The Real News has covered Mosby's comments condemning police officers for interfering with the case. In this story, we get a response to her statement that the Baltimore Police Department has made reforms since she indicted the 6 officers for Freddie Gray's death. We spoke to Dominque Stevenson of the 1619 Coalition and Eddie Conway, a former Black Panther and political prisoner of 44 years.
In spite of the fact that the verdicts didn't go in our favor, there have been many gains throughout this journey to ensure that what happened to Freddie Gray never happens to another person that comes into contact with police.
Basically, like what I see working in and around Gilmore Homes and Sandtown, Winchester, is I see the same behavior by the police. I don't see that anything has really changed. I see the jump outs that are occurring around the community. And I think that the real issue is that this is not a system that can be reformed. I think that is extremely problematic, how people view this system as if it's broken. It's working the way it was intended to work for Black and Latino and brown folks.
That if she really wanted reform to occur, she wouldn't have removed that charge of illegal arrest. That charge of illegal arrest would have reformed the police department here in Maryland and all across the country. By her taking that charge and taking it out of the indictment left no choice but no reform. Actually, nothing has changed, and in fact, until young people have the opportunity to have jobs, until the city government invests in summer jobs for young people, until there's a recognition of people in the community as human beings and not as the enemy, there's been no changes so far. I look all over the city and I see the same kind of behavior. It might have a smile on his face, but it's still taking people and throwing them to the ground, and it's still harassing people, individuals, and people are still walking around the streets in fear. So I don't see any change.
Can we separate justice from economic justice, and why is that important to have that discussion as well?
No, I don't think you can separate it. Because I think that part of what we're dealing with here, particularly in communities of people of African descent, Latinos and other living, is a part of capitalism and how it works. In many cases, we're deemed no longer useful to this system. So simply lock us up, contain us, we're disposable people. I don't think you can ever separate economic justice from justice. Economic justice is a part of what I'm talking about if I'm talking about justice. There are no jobs in the community where Freddie Gray lived and grew up.
Everybody in the city needs to engage in trying to work with each other and other people in the city so that we can bring change, because change is not going to occur unless it occurs from down on the ground.
From Baltimore, this is Jessel Noor.